Hello, and welcome to Anime Audio Commentary. Today I'll be commenting on episode 11 of Roshidere, or Alia Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russian. If you'd like to watch along, then start watching now. Last we left off, Kuze ran into his mom, which, given that they seem to be estranged, it's not good. And given that he seems to be now remembering incidences with his mother, that doesn't bode well for his mental state. And I guess it's interesting because when we were first introduced to Kuze, he was, a slacker, someone who just watched anime and stayed up late, but here he's, getting perfect scores on tests, practicing piano, and playing exceptionally well. Oh dear indeed. So it seems like, no matter what he did, nothing was ever quite good enough. Oh dear indeed. Yeah, okay, so it was a dream. Man, that's a real poor thing to dream about. Ooh. So Kuze woke up and seemed to have been coming down with a cold here, so the question is, will Alia show up and take care of him? I certainly hope so, and it seems to be the case now, but, I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't, Like with the whole business with last episode and the birthday party and all that, I felt that was a pretty big missed opportunity. And I don't know, that I'm questioning this isn't a good sign. Oh boy, so Yuki's playing matchmaker again, saying like, Alia, look, my, friend, brother, whatever lie she's telling, he's sick, he needs to be taken care of, you're the only one who can do it. And yeah, it's a bit uncomfortable, perhaps, to be invited into this guy's home, but, really, she should jump at the chance, even if she's not willing to say it out loud. Wow. Yeah, normally, she says, sweet things in Russian, but now she's not doing that. Oh, dear. So she's making borscht, which, as I understand it, is sort of like an Eastern European soup, which, soup is generally good for colds, I suppose, but I was under the impression it was like turnip soup, essentially. Maybe not necessarily something that would be good for when you're sick. Chicken soup is the ideal thing, right? Or perhaps the stereotypically common thing. So there we go. At least she's gratified that he's using the mug she bought for him. That's a nice little touch, and I'm pretty sure it was on his table before. Although, that said, like, if you get a mug, I feel like, at least me personally, I'd be hard-pressed not to use it, Now, I guess I'm just sort of thinking about the mechanics of this episode, but it seems like we got through the cooking part rather quickly. I guess it's not really important and it's sort of incidental to this story, but I'm wondering if maybe like a little segment of Alia actually doing the cooking might have been in order, Although I guess we're getting on to the more important things of he doesn't really have any family in the picture, and that's something she's, not openly sad about, but like she's definitely taken notice of it. And if I had to guess, her family is certainly more tight-knit, I'd imagine. We haven't seen much of her father, or really anything at all, but I assume he's in the picture. We do know her mother is, at least somewhat involved, seeing as how she went to the school function. Okay. This is something of a surprise. It's nice that Alia stayed behind to continue taking care of him, but that the maid showed up, I guess I don't blame her. She was probably acting on Yuki's orders, but, yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's weird that Alia would have to fend off competition from this quarter, I mean, notwithstanding the whole comments about wombs trembling and all that, that was something she only said to Yuki. So, like, I guess we, the audience, can understand this, but I don't know. Of everyone to sort of make a move, it's weird for the maid to do it. Although, unfortunately, she does raise the cogent point that, Alia, you have other things you need to be doing, so you don't have to tend to him. And, wow. Alright. It's rather unfortunate that she would just sort of give in so quickly. It's like, you know what, you're right, I do have things to do. I will be leaving now. What the hell is going on? Like, that is really disappointing. This had better get resolved. Like, if this isn't something they talk about in the future, it's like, Alia apologizes, or maybe not even apologizes, but just acknowledges it. Like, man. So, I guess it's nice that she did cook a nice meal, but, she's not around to appreciate him appreciating it, so what's really the point? I guess he could tell her, but that's not the same. Oh, man, Alia left right before all the fun parts. It's like, oh, hey, even if you don't feel like bathing, you should probably wipe down, and hey, I'll do it for you. I'll wear a blindfold and everything. There's definitely an ulterior motive here. It's interesting that she would be willing to sleep beside him when he's sick. And, failing that, she would be willing to sing him a lullaby or something. Like, frankly, in that position, if I were sick, I would just kind of want to be left to my own devices, just like, let me sleep. At least Kuze realizes that after ordering the maid away, he probably could have done that earlier. Alright, so I don't know if this is the weekend or something. It seems like it isn't, but he's sleeping in really late, so he's probably not feeling all that great. Well, better now, but I don't know. I think, like, even the last time I was really sick, I still didn't, like, sleep in all that late. Like, I didn't get out of bed, but I was, awake and cognizant. Well, that is something, if you're essentially just still kinda sick but feeling mostly better, there's no sense in exerting yourself, Take it easy, make sure you get really better. Although he might not have that luxury. You know, if something's bothering him, that means there's something going on in the plot. Oh. Okay, so, he's interested in the medication, which, Huh. So the medicine in part causes drowsiness. Is he implying that this was done deliberately? Okay, what the hell is going on here? This seems like a leap in logic where it's like, oh, you got me the drowsy Tylenol rather than the non-drowsy Tylenol. This is clearly an act of subterfuge by Yuki. And, like, I don't know if I really believe that. Like, what's she sabotaging, first of all? Would it have to do with the election? And, like, I don't know. Okay, so, like, he's readily assuming that Yuki is behind this, that this was some sort of subterfuge. So I guess good on Kuze for being the knight in shining armor to show up, but, man. I guess in his absence, Alia really can't do anything on her own. Wow, you know, I guess I'm gonna wait and see, both sides of the story, as it were, but if this is really Yuki committing some sort of subterfuge, like, man, shame on her to an extreme degree. Because, like, I can get sabotaging Alia, but using Kuze to do it is a real low-down and dirty thing to do. Oh, and a lunchtime PA broadcast. That's something to be wary of. You know, that's broadcast in front of the school. You know, for somebody who is allegedly intelligent, she should perhaps consider that, you know, this is her opponent suggesting a course of action. You know, she's not doing that out of the goodness of her own heart. I mean, like, look how hard Yuki's pushing to say, like, oh, come on, you have to make a guest appearance, even if you don't bring up the debate. Like, that should be triggering alarm bells. Yuki's bringing up that, you know, oh, you're not willing to press the advantage on, the debate victory, like, you know, that's sort of a weakness, I guess. Man. You know, it's unfortunate that, like, this show's taking a sort of weird middle ground, in my view. Because, like, they mess around with romance, they mess around with the politics of the student council, but I feel like they should really commit to all one or all the other. Because, like, at least there's a little bit in each of them that is captivating, but, man. Okay, so Yuki's even giving it away. It's like, oh yeah, you know, Kuze's out sick, so, man. So I guess Yuki even giving away her master plan is, you know, galaxies smarter than Alia is, because despite all that, she's still falling for the bait. Man, that she's saying, like, I don't need to rely on Kuze, I can do this on my own. This really rings hollow when Kuze arrives at school and she says, oh, I messed everything up, I'm sorry. Man. Now, I hope that what Yuki's doing is like the real political mudslinging that I really hope the debate would be. Okay, so now that they're in the booth, Yuki's like, rolling over and apologizing and saying like, oh, it was self-serving of me. I don't really want to do that. I want to be friends. Like, once again, like, this is a pretty clear, blatant lie. Like, I can understand falling for it. Like, in that position, I probably would too, but like, after what Yuki said, I would feel like friendship is kind of off the table. At least as far as the student council stuff goes, and you should certainly treat everything she says as, at best, disingenuous and self-serving. Okay. So this also seems strategic, that Yuki would sort of tell this story about how her older brother that she used to have was, so great and better than her in every respect and all that. I guess the question is she just going to give the sob story that, like, I have to fill those big shoes, or is she going to reveal that it is Kuze? I'm thinking she wouldn't, but... yeah, okay, she's just telling, just enough to say, I've got some really big shoes that I need to fill for my family. Talk of duty and things like that would really... essentially, play on Alia's emotions. Wow, and she's asking all sorts of questions right before they go live, too. Like, this is blatantly dirty behavior. Which is sort of par for the course where politics goes, but man. And I guess Alia doesn't have the sort of, like, radio discipline, the ability to talk and perform on air as well as she perhaps should. And I mean, just like that, when she's clearly distracted, Yuki's badgering her on air. It's like, oh, nervous? Ha ha ha. Man. So I guess the question is, like, it seems like this situation is, pretty unsalvageable, but what's Kuze gonna do about it? Because I feel like, he's gonna have to do something. Like, a stern talking to wouldn't cut it, I don't think. I think he's probably gonna have to smack his sister. I mean, at least, he's on the right path where, like, Yuki wants Alia to spiral, and therefore she should stop it, just, like, disregard Yuki, don't think about Yuki, don't let her get in your head. I mean, honestly, I think at this point, the best thing to do would probably be to fight back dirty in kind. Yuki sharing that bit about how she has big shoes to fill. She's probably not self-conscious about that, but you could probably whack her for that once or twice. Maybe even publicly. Ooh. Okay, so, rather than distrusting Kuze, I think Alia's gonna put two and two together here. They are related. Man. Okay, so maybe if she is putting two and two together, she's certainly not saying it out loud. She's saying, oh boy, I like this. Wow. That is pretty bad, not having an answer for why you want to be the student council president. Like, I feel like you should have an answer, even if it's just, I think I am the right person to bring about positive change for the school and the faculty and all that. Like, something, like, essentially a canned answer. Yeah, it really does seem like, no matter how you slice it, Alia is really self-defeating. Like, man, it is disappointing, because I feel like this could land, but something about it isn't quite working for me. I feel like maybe she's not as I guess, for want of a better word, pathetic. If she were a little bit more pathetic, like, lower on the social ladder or not as academically gifted, then something like this would be a lot more sympathetic for her, for having fallen for such obvious political bait. But I mean, like, even Alia being down in the dumps, like, just a little pep talk from Kuze and she's seemingly back to normal too. I don't know. I guess this goes back to what I was saying about how they should do all romance or all politics. Because if they were doing all politics, Alia being depressed should be like an episode or two. She should be sad for a while and Kuze should have to really work to sort of pull her out of the mire. Although it's interesting that Taniyama would show up, considering she has been disgraced by Alia in part. I mean, Alia tried to make things right, or at least Kuze did, but the question is, what now? Do they form a coalition? I mean, maybe it would be interesting. It's like, yes, I got spanked in this debate, and I'm throwing all my weight behind Alia to help her because she's, the real good candidate here. Oh, wow. How magnanimous of Alia. It's like, I just wanted you guys to apologize for being rude. Man, that's, seems kind of tactless. I'm almost questioning whether or not Alia should be the student council president. Like, I don't think she actually does have what it takes. Well, that's something. Like, at least Taniyama seems to be willing to fall on her own sword. She knows she's beaten and therefore she'll pull out of the race. Which, like, it's sort of commendable in its own way, but I guess Kuze's thinking a few steps ahead here. It's like, well, could you announce your defeat and also, maybe help us out a little bit? So it's interesting that Taniyama thinks supporting Alia is a bridge too far, at least in terms of a declaration of support, but I don't know. I don't know where this is going. I mean, I guess whatever Kuze has in mind, it must be a good idea, seeing as how they've all agreed to it basically instantaneously. And not only did they do that, but this is enough to essentially, win. Alright, Kuze, there we go. They struck first, it's time to whack him right back. It's time for political mudslinging, let's go. Alright, well that's it for this episode. If you've enjoyed it, then by all means, tune in for the next one. See you, Space Cowboy.